Hello, this is Sharon Mistretta, and this is a tutorial on how to create a science MadLib app using the MIT App Inventor. This particular application can be utilized in 5th through 12th grade. The MadLib app would serve as a formative assessment for grammar school, where you would have the students make their MadLib app. But this particular app is designed to reinforce their knowledge about simple machines and compound machines. So after they have completed the application, then they would be able to use each other's app to fill in the fields and to make silly sentences. But what the teacher would be able to do is to walk around the room to observe the simple machines and the compound machines that the students are entering, to observe whether or not they're using the full scope of simple machines, the full scope of compound machines, and to make suggestions that perhaps they can add a different subset of the machines in there so that you're reinforcing all of that knowledge. In terms of 9th through 12th grade, this can be used simply as an app, beginner app, as a how-to, how to use this application. But I teach app writing 9th through 12th currently. And during office hours, which are the asynchronous weeks, when we don't have our live sessions, if you wanted to meet with me online, you can use the same live link that we use for our live sessions, and I will have the my office hours during the same time as our class time. So that if you wanted to bounce some ideas off of me, or for me to help you to figure out how you can use this for more advanced concepts, I'd be happy to do so, because I do that in my class currently. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go over to App Inventor and we're going to start our app. So I'm making the assumption that you have navigated to appinventor2.mit.edu, and that you have created your login credentials using your Gmail account, and also that you have, when prompted the first time that you log in, they have you download the emulator software that you would need to run the emulator right on your computer. So you would do that for your operating system, whether you have Windows or a Mac. There is also an AI companion app, which if you have an Android smartphone or you have an Android tablet, then you can download the app to your device, and then when it is installed, you just invoke it and connect using AI Companion, and it will show you either a QR code that you can read with your camera of your device, or you can enter a 6-digit code to synchronize your device to this website. The only trick is that you have to have your website on the same Wi-Fi network as your device. So it has to be on the same, and then it works beautifully. It really mirrors whatever you're doing right on your device. It's pretty neat. So now what we're going to do is we're going to come over and we're going to start a new project. We are going to call this project Science MadLib. This is in camel notation, which means mirroring the humps of a camel. The name is a capital S at the beginning of each word, no spaces. It allows for a shorter file name, or sometimes it's used for a variable name, etc. And it is used quite extensively in technology. So this is camel notation's best practices. We're going to click OK, and what it's going to do is it's going to bring up our storyboard, and it's where on our storyboard is where we're going to actually do all of our development. There are two screens that you're going to need to pay attention to. One is the designer, where we're going to drag and drop all of our objects, and then blocks, where we're actually going to do the coding. We can't do any coding yet because we haven't dropped any objects yet, and the objects are our labels and our text boxes, etc. So while we're here on screen 1, what I would like you to do is just scroll down here and click on the radio button that says scrollable, so that when we do add all of our objects, and it's more than is the capacity of the emulator, that it will scroll and we can see the other data. So now we're ready to add our objects. And if you look on the left-hand side, you have a palette and you have user interface. There's several different drawers that you can open, drop-down menus, but right now we're working in user interface. And if this is not open, you just have to click on it. So now we are going to drag and drop a label over here, and we are simply going to call this Science MadLib. And press enter. And there it is on our storyboard. So now that we have one object on our storyboard, now I can fire up the emulator. And what it's doing is it's going to start the emulator, and it's going to appear on my screen so that I can see exactly what is happening on my storyboard, and it'll mirror it on the emulator. It's pretty neat. If you have it connected to a real device, then it will do your device and mirror right on there. So it's really just a very easy transition, so you can see exactly what you are doing. So now what you have is you have your objects which are going to appear on the emulator, and it's just giving about 8 more seconds to do that, and then you're going to be seeing the information on the screen. So then what we're going to do next is we are going to drag and drop the rest of our labels and our text boxes and a button. And here it is. I have my Science MadLib. So it mirrored it on my emulator. So now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be showing you some best practices, because I always have my students do content first. It's a natural thing for anyone to want to design their screen and to make it pretty and do a background color and change the font, etc., and center things. But what I'm going to do first is I'm simply going to work on our objects. So now what I need 6 more labels. I'm going to drag over another label. You see the blue line there? It's showing me where it's going to place that. In the right-hand side, I can change that to past tense verb and a colon. I'm just going to add all of my labels consecutively, so I'm building what I want my user to use. Now, please note that when I select the label, that's when I can work on it in the right-hand side. If I don't have it selected, I can't work on that label. It only is what's selected on the storyboard. So after past tense verb, I have the word simple machine. I'm going to drag over another label. And I have, after simple machine, I have first name. Now if you look, you're going to see all of these things coming up on the emulator. There they are. So after first name, I have past tense verb. Drag it over again. And also by doing it in this way, you are dragging over the same type of thing, and repetition really reinforces their knowledge, so that they really are getting used to dragging things over and changing the text. Here I need a present tense verb and another label. I need a compound machine label and compound machine. Okay, so now you see that I have components and I have 7 labels. So it's adding what I'm going to be able to work on the other side in blocks. But we're not going to change the labels, but we are going to be acting upon the text boxes. I'm going to move this over just a little bit so you can see everything at once. So here are my text boxes. Now I want you to please observe the blue line, and that allows me to position where I want to drop something. So when I bring up a text box, I know that I want it right underneath past tense verb. Plop, there it goes. Another text box under simple machine. Another text box under first name. We don't act upon these until we get over to the blocks. Past tense verb, present tense verb, and compound machine. We also need a button, because when we click the button, what's going to happen is the app is going to read everything to us. It's going to be a text to a voice, text to speech. I have my button selected. If I scroll down a bit, I am going to put the words "put it all together!" Exclamation point, enter. Okay, there's a couple more things that I need to add on this side of the screen, this side, before I go over to blocks, because I want to do a text-to-speech. That is in the media drawer. So you see I have user interface here. Let's go down to media. And then inside of media, you can see all the things that you can invoke. But what I need to do is text-to-speech. However, text-to-speech doesn't live on the storyboard. It's going to be dragged to the storyboard, but then it drops below it so I can use it in the block section. So here I'm going to go boom, and see where it dropped? Down here. Text-to-speech dropped in the bottom. Now, I need more than 6 of these because I'm going to also put sentences in, parts of the sentence that then will surround all of the entry that the user did. So I actually need 11 text-to-speech for this particular app. So I'm just going to drag it to the storyboard, but then it drops where I need it to be, and you can see that it's adding them in here. So let's add 11. I'll drop it here. That's 3, and it's nice that it enumerates them for me. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Okay, so there they are. So now I'm ready to code my app. I have all of the components that I need, and I am going to go over to my blocks. And lo and behold, look at all of them here. They're sitting there waiting for me. When you tap on a component, it will give you what it can do. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to click on the text box so that I can have my user do some data entry. Now there's 2 things that I need to drag over to it. When you're doing data entry into a text box and an app is managing that for you, you really have to think about what the app is doing. The app is waiting for the user to do something. It's listening. And when it listens, it doesn't know where the user is going to tap. They can tap anywhere. But what you do is you have a got focus. So when it realizes that it has been called upon, it wakes it up and focuses. I still need one more thing from the text box, and that is to do a text box request focus so that the keyboard comes up. So you would be able to have the user do data entry. Now here is a little bit of a shortcut that I'm trying to show you, because do you notice that these are drop-down menus? Okay, now right now it has text box 1, text box 1. But if I just highlight this whole thing, you're going to see that it is surrounded. If I do a Command C, or on a Windows-based device it's a Control C, it's copy. And then I do a Command V on a Mac, or Command V or Control V on a Windows-based device. Now it's telling me that it's a duplicate handler, and it's right. But all I need to do to quiet that warning is simply say, okay, I know that, but this is text box 2. Okay, so do you see that now I have the ability to do my text box 1 and text box 2. I could, if I wanted to, select text box 3 on that side and then select it again and do a request focus. But once I have my block set, I can just copy it over, and that very quickly will get my text boxes formatted so that I can then have somebody do data entry. So I have text box 4. Now when you do a Command C, it puts it into memory. So I already can do a Command V because it will just do a paste, and then I'm changing this to 5. And I'm just going to give myself a little more room there. I'm going to do another Command V, drag it down here, and it is going to be text box 6. Okay, so I have 6 opportunities to key into my 6 text boxes. That makes sense? So I've set up my data entry. So now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 can be entered. That's only the entry part though, because now I have to put it all together. and I have to make it do what I had wanted it to do in terms of the text to speech. So I have my text boxes, those are ready. But now what I need to do is I need to have it listen for the button. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on my button, and these are all the things that the button can do. What I'm looking for is when the button's clicked, when the user clicks the button. Okay, but then what do I want to do? I want to call my text to speech. So those are the little media that I had placed down here. So I'm going to do my text to speech, and I'm going to call my text to speech. But then what am I going to call? This time I need to start my sentence. So I'm going to come up here to the built-ins, and I'm just going to take the word text, and I'm just going to tell it what to say in terms of keying it in. So it's just a nice little quotation, and inside of there I'm going to start my sentence. In science class, now that's the beginning of my sentence, okay? So now what I'm going to do is, that's the button click, but then I have my text to speech again. Okay, so I have my text to speech 1. So here what I need to do is I need to do a when text to speech 1 after speaking. So when text to speech 1 is done talking, I want it to call text to speech 2. Okay? But what do I want it to say? I want it to say what's ever in text box 1. And do you see again the benefits of a flipped lesson? Because there's all of these really look alike. This is what I want. Text box 1, whatever's inside of the text, I want it to say. Okay? So let us give this a whirl now. It's not going to say the whole sentence, but I'm going to bring up my past tense verb. I'm going to key in the word ran, and then I'm going to key on done. And so far I have it only saying what I wanted it to say, plus the contents of text 1. So I'm just going to scroll down, put it all together.
In science class, I ran.
Okay, so it's concatenating everything for me. And based on what I put in the rest of them, it's going to concatenate the entire sentence for me. Now here, using the copy and paste, you are able to then just copy this unit down, but then change what it wants to, what it's going to do. So here, my sentence, so after, what I want to do now is include a block that says when text to speech 2 is done, it's after speaking. So I'm going to copy this whole thing, and I'm going to paste it right down here. Now, when text to speech 2 is done, then I want to call the next one, which is text to speech 3, but I don't want it to do a block yet of what's inside of a text box. I'm just going to copy down this block here because I want it to say something for me in my sentence, the sentence I'm forming. Then do a little click here. So in science class, I ran, and then, or whatever past tense verb they put, and then many simple machines. So this is my sentence that I'm surrounding the data with. I dropped, this is the silly sentence. You can construct any silly sentence you want. I dropped. So now what I want to do is I want to take the contents out of what is in text box 2 now. So I'm going to take this one here. So you see how I'm just copying down what I need. I can select from here. So for instance, I can do when text to speech 3 after speaking, so I could do it this way. So when 3 is done, but I'm going to come back in here and I'm going to call text to speech 4, and I am going to now take the contents of text box 2. I could go over here. I could take the text. I could just as easily have dropped down a menu by copying over this one and dropping it down. But after, when text 3 is done, I want it to call 4 and say what's in this box. Okay, does that make sense? I'm just concatenating them. So that's text box 2. Now I have another little part of my sentence. So I like to just take one that's going to look like it and just change my data. So I'm just going to take my blocks from there because it has one that has a little red text that I can key in something to. So I want to, when text 4 finishes, text-to-speech 4 finishes, I want it to call text-to-speech 5, and then I'm just going to change this to the word when. Okay, let's try it. So a simple machine, I'm going to key in the word lever. I can also just click on that little down arrow. First name, how about John? And past tense verb, I don't think I filled that in yet. I didn't provide a block for that yet. I'm just going to use the word hopped. I'm going to click on done, and I'm going to put it all together.
In science class, I ran many simple machines. I dropped the lever when.
Okay, so this is where it stopped, right? So I don't have the block to speak John yet. I didn't have that yet. So I know that that is in text box 3. See? 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to, I know that I need a text box to speak. So I'm just going to take this one because it's going to have a container for me of text box. I'm going to copy it and then I'm going to paste it down here. It's going to throw an error for now because it knows I've duplicated something. And I have. I copied it down. But I like to do that. It's just, you can keep track of what you want to do and your data. So here, after text speech 5 is done, so it's the one before it is done, I'm going to do text to speech 6, and then not text 2, I need text box 3. Okay, so that was when. I need to fill it again with the next text box. So I'm going to just copy this, or I can just paste. I have that in my memory already. Okay, here it comes. Bring it down here. So it makes sense, right? That when 6 is done, so when text-to-speech 6 is done, okay, I want to call the next text-to-speech, and I want it to say whatever inside of 4. Okay, I've got 3 and I've got 4. Let's run it.
In science class, I ran many simple machines. I dropped the lever when John hopped.
Okay, so that's all we've coded so far, right? So let's see. And John hopped. Okay, I need another part of my sentence. Let's see. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take this one, which is this part of a sentence, this part that I create, and I'm going to do you see how I'm selecting it? And it selects that whole block, the whole container. So I've selected it. I'm going to do a Command C or a Control C on the Windows-based device. So I'm going to come down here. I'm going to do a Command V or Control V on a Windows-based device. So now what I need to do is when text-to-speech 7 is done, I'm going to call text-to-speech 8. And I am going to put another part of my sentence. I'm going to put around the science lab. Now I am going to use my simple machines to, okay, and then I need another text block, whatever's inside of number 5. Okay, so it would be hopped around the science lab. Now I'm going to use my simple machines to, how about the word lift? It's indicative. Lift. Okay, lift. And then how about I put down here bicycle for a compound machine? And done. Okay, so now let's put it all together.
In science class, I ran many simple machines. I dropped a lever when John hopped around the science lab. Now, I am going to use my simple machines too.
Okay, now I didn't put in the text for here. So I need whatever is inside of 5. So I'm going to take this block here, because this is, I need a text box, and I'm going to do a Command C. I'm going to come down here, I'm going to do a Command V. Again, it's throwing an error. It's not a problem because I haven't changed it yet. It's not irreparable. Now I'm going to do, when 8 is done, I'm going to call 9. But I don't want text box 4, I want text box 5. Okay, and let's play it.
In science class, I ran many simple machines. I dropped a lever when John hopped around the science lab. Now, I am going to use my simple machines to lift.
Okay, so now lift, and I'm going to put a one more word in here for myself, my sentence. So I'm going to select this one. I'm going to do a Command V down here, Command C and Command V. So I want to do, when 9 is done, I'm going to call 10, and here I'm just going to put the word the. When you triple click inside that, it selects the whole thing, and then I can just key in what I want. So let us see. Call text to speech. Okay, that should have cleared up. So let us see. When text to speech 9 after speaking, text to speech 10. Call text to speech. So do I have that? Let's see. So I'm checking my my work here. Save it while I can. Now I am going to, I'm just looking for errors. Hope I'm not making you dizzy. All right, so when text to speech 8 after speaking, call text to speech 9. When text to speech 9 after speaking, call text to speech 10. All right, so it isn't like that for some reason. Okay, delete all 3 blocks. I'm going to do text to speech 9. I'm going to do when text to speech 9 after speaking. Text to speech 9 after speaking. Then I'm going to call text to speech 10. So let's see why it doesn't like that. Okay, let's see. When text to speech 9 after speaking, let's just see if I have anything misaligned here. So I have the button. I have text to speech 1, call 2. Text after 2, call 3. After 3, call 4. After 4, call 5. After 5, call 6. After 6, call 7. After 7, call 8. After 8, call 9. And after 9, it is a memory error. Error from companion. Oh, we're just going to reset. That's the companion, is this. It's the connect. So I'm going to just reset my connection. I am going to take that out. I'm going to connect again to my emulator. So essentially what was happening was for some reason the emulator was not synchronizing with my my app. So I had run this completely successfully before, so I know that it has the capacity to do that. So I'm just going to see if I can now add my text-to-speech 9 and 10 and 11. So 9, 10, and 11. 11 is the last one that sits inside of 10. Okay, so I'm starting my emulator. Okay. And it should show what I have thus far of my blocks. There they are. Okay, so my scroll, let's just make sure I have my scroll going. There it is. Okay, there's my scroll. All right, now let's see. I'm going to come down here again. So sometimes you do have to restart your emulator. I'm going to take my text-to-speech 9 when after speaking. When after speaking text-to-speech 9, I'm going to come right over here and call text-to-speech 10. And what do I want it to do? What I want it to do is, it's showing a warning because I haven't included the text box yet. I want to come over and I'm going to take my text, this little guy right here, click in, and I'm going to key in, let's see, lift the, is the word the, okay, and then now the last one, I'm going to take text to speech 10. So here, when 10 is done speaking, then I am going to ask it to do text to speech 11. So wrong one. Here. Call text to speech 11. I'm going to delete that there, pop it into the, and I'm going to take my text, the contents of text box 6. Okay, and here it is, text box 6. Okay, so 0 warnings, 0 errors. And now I'm going to, since I restarted this, I have to key in something. Now, it says hint for text box, and that's something you can refine. You can put a little hint in there. If you wanted to put a hint of a past tense verb, it shows up in gray, but you're able to key over it. So if you wanted to put certain samples of a simple machine or not, you can just eliminate the hint. That's what that's for. We can eliminate that when we start to refine the app. So here I'm doing my past tense verb. There we go, past tense verb. And I can use a little down arrow, simple machine. First name. Past tense verb. Past tense verb, a present tense verb. Compound machine. And done. And put it all together.
In science class, I ran many simple machines. I dropped a lever when John hopped around the science lab. Now, I am going to use my simple machines to lift the bicycle.
Okay, so that put it all together. And I was able to accept data entry and then to have it speak for me. I'm going to go back to the designer and I'm going to come back up to my components and I'm going to click on screen. So now I can do my little bit of design. So I can, instead of a line horizontal, how about if I put everything center? Instead of background color white, how about if I do it the cyan color, which is pretty? How about if I now come over to my science MadLib title, and instead of doing a smaller one, I can do a bold, and I can increase the size to maybe 16. Okay, so those are the types of things that you're going to do to make it prettier, but that is the app. And this is something that can be very successful for students to get a great sense of accomplishment and also learn a little and reinforce science. Now, to build, let's see, to projects, you're going to save project. Don't forget to save. Okay, and then also you can export the project to the computer, which is the app. If you wanted to do that, just to have them export it so that you can upload it to your emulator and take a look at it, or if you just wanted to use this as a formative assessment, but by exporting it you can also use it as a summative. You export the project, then you import it to your own app Inventor subscription or account. And that's how I have my students hand things in. They export their, they take their file. So in here, in this instance, since you're on a cloud, you have to export it to their computer, and then they upload it to a Dropbox. If I have never uploaded a .aia, you would also perhaps need to compress the file and push it up to a Dropbox. But otherwise, that could be a way to see it, or you can just observe it. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this project, and again, I am available on Wednesdays on the asynchronous weeks for office hours so I can help you. Thanks.